Tip 6, take time out. Now, I think in the last few years, we've all realised when we learned that we couldn't go abroad more easily or take a fortnight holidays as easily, we learned the importance of having a super mini break. And I think it's really important that we carry on doing that super mini break approach to life on a really regular weekly basis. And your super mini breaks are going to be totally different to other people's, but things that help me to take myself away from the work environment and the stresses and the responsibilities is I'll go to a coffee shop and I'll love a coffee and a cake. And it's that my 30-40 minutes away from everything, away from the house, away from work, away from the office, and to relax and take time out. Sometimes I might go for a walk in the park. But whatever you like doing, maybe you like going to your local shops and picking up fresh fruit and vegetables, or going around the markets. Do it regularly and sort of acknowledge and appreciate how important having those super mini breaks are. And get them in your diary and do them regularly. Taking time out and getting into nature is also really, really beneficial. There's been so much research on what being out in nature does for our bodies. And the key things are that it calms us down, and research has shown that. The fresh air often helps us to think when we're away from the noise and the bustle, or increasingly screen time, and we're actually out in the fresh air. We give our brains time to relax and to think about things. So I really strongly suggest that I recommend getting out into nature. And the third tip for taking time out is to unplug. Unplug and do something active, whatever that might be. So I would use that in respect of, you might be on your computer in your office and you're working through, let's say, HR issues. Maybe you're doing recruitment, or maybe you're doing some HR audit files, or maybe, as is often the case, you're trying to organise the staff rota. And you just find that the more you think about it and the more you're trying to concentrate, the harder it feels. Unplug. Go out of the office and have a mini break. Take that mini time out and go and do something different. Whether that is going and talking to staff, talking to your residents, going and helping with meal times, or enjoying a sing-along. Maybe it's going and doing something physical, like checking the medicines in the treatment room. It's getting you moving and it's getting you thinking about something totally different. What I don't mean is, if you're doing, say, HR audit files, it's not getting up, going out your office and going and sitting doing care audit files, because that's too similar and your brain isn't going to benefit from the change. So if you need to, I mean, personally, I recommend regular breaks. And I do a lot. There are some videos on my YouTube channel that you can look at, different ways of plotting your work streams, and how you can build in different processes to keep you recharge and keep that optimum performance level going for yourself. But certainly, tip 6, take time out and unplug and move on to something else. So those are the 6 tips we've taken you through this week on our recharge for optimum performance part of the 5R framework. I'm sure some of them you're doing, and it was always about that, but sometimes just being reminded about a tool or a tip that we perhaps don't use as regularly as we should, or we could use it, then it's worth trying it. Not all of them will work for you, but I think even if you pick up 2 of the tips we've been talking about this week and embed them into the way you work, I really feel you'll get benefit, because the most important thing for all of us is to realise we do need to recharge ourselves. We are not robots. Well, it's probably a wrong analogy, because robots will need charging as well, but we do have to take time out, and it's important that we take time out as part of how we look after ourselves, because this module in the Qualitizer process is all about managing self, to be able to effectively manage others. And if we don't have energy and we feel very run down, then that will come across in what we need to do in the work environment, and it will come across to our staff as well. So have a review of this week, pick up a couple of tips and embed them into the day-to-day work and the way you approach life. I promise you, you will feel far more energized if you can do that. And we'll see you next week for the next R of the 5R framework. Again, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos, and we'll see you next week.